of all, I would like to officially welcome you in our this guest lecture series.
Thank you very much, Tapa. You are my friend.
Yeah. For my students, for my friends here, Fatma is my friend. We met in the USA in 2016. We had some short-term course there in Ohio University, and we were classmates. I think everybody has already read about your brief profile. So it's better you start your presentation now, and after that we'll do Q&A and we'll talk more in that session.
Okay, thank you very much, Taba. And thank you very much for having me and this respectful university. Hello, everybody. Hello, all the students of communication and media. I'm trying today, my name is Fatma Elsayed. I'm from Egypt, Cairo University, and this presentation is about social media and a humanitarian crisis. What I want to say in this presentation is that we can harness social media platforms to relieve humanitarian crisis. But let's see first, what is humanitarian crisis? It is defined as a singular event or a series of events that are threatening a community or large group of people in terms of health, safety, or well-being. So the people are suffering through this humanitarian crisis and need help. How the social media can help the people suffering or feeling grief from any natural disaster or man-made disaster. Actually, we have two types of humanitarian crisis: the man-made one and the natural-made one. The man-made is like the military conflicts and the wars and the political violence. And the natural-made disasters like earthquakes, volcanoes, the displacement due to any natural, floods or any type of natural disasters. All these leave humanitarian crisis. So how the social media can help? Social media can help in two main ways. The first category is the local or domestic help. That include the connecting families, seeking for help, or providing feedback about the people if they need any inadequate food or health care, or if they need medicine or any support. Social media can help in this, and globally to coordinate relief efforts and to disseminate life-saving messages through the social media platforms. So we have two: local and global scale of help that social media can provide for the persecuted or the affected people during crisis. So if you are an activist, if you are a journalist, if you are an actor, if you are a witness, you can deliver your voice through social media to relieve humanitarian crisis. But you have to be to add value through your social media, through your YouTube channel, through your Facebook page, through your Twitter account. You have to add value, means to add information, or to add new knowledge, or to add accurate instructions to guide people through disasters or crisis, to be present, to be there, to be here all the time, for the people can ask a question and have the answers from you, the accurate answer, and be human, to show compassion and to show your feelings, your emotions, so the people can feel that they are engaged with you. And you have to connect with others who are interested in the same crisis relieving. If you have to form your own network from the organizations or the people who are interested in the same thing. Also, you have to involve your audience. Involve your audience means you have to engage the people with you, to let them speak about their stories and tell you what happened with them, and to collect testimonies, to collect the what the people have witnessed from during the crisis and after the crisis, and be timely and consistent to be available at any time. They have to feel that you are here. And also you have to be reliable, means to be trustfulness. You have to be trusted by the people, like giving accurate information, trustful resources about the crisis before or during or after the crisis. And be accountable means you have to be clear about if you have your financing resources, if you have money to or sponsoring entities, you have to declare what are the sources of your finance resources. And also you have to be transparent and give the information directly. Be clear and be honest with your people. Now you can build trust with them. And finally, you have to verify your accounts, because many people can falsify accounts, they can fake some accounts, and the real people that really need your help may be confused. So when you're verifying your account with special signs, this will make them sure that they are connecting with the right person. So these are some of the guidelines you have to follow to gain or to earn to be successful in communicating with the people during crisis. So what media technologies can do, including the social media platforms, they can track water distribution points. They can assist in the travelers on roads during destruction. Many roads could be closed and the people cannot access to the hospital or the healthcare or the places that they can provide food. Also to positioning missed people, those who are separated from their families during crisis, they can position missed people through some applications with GPS services. Also, social media can help in locating the violation crimes, and many applications do this by sending an instant videos and instant photos of these violence crimes, and this could be located, detected, and they can find them and bring them for accountable. And also, social media can provide telemedical consultation using the medicine or the healthcare services during crisis is very difficult. So using the mobile phones to show or to connect with the patient during crisis would be very effective in to give the right treatment for those people, with connecting them with the physicians or the doctors that are specialized in certain cases. It can give immediate and urgent assistance to them and to save their lives. Although the social media can provide the frequently asked questions pages that can answer the most common questions asked by the people during the crisis, and this would be very helpful to them. And also it's open for the possibilities and what the social media can do. It's really open for the creativity and for the innovations of the new generation that give more harnessing and usability of social media. My main area of application is I have applied this study during master. I have been done in Leeds University in the UK in 2018. And it was about the Rohingya community in Bradford. And the main message is, the main target of this study is to know how the social media can help the Rohingya to convey the message to the world, and how this could help them, not only the Rohingya, but also all the people who are suffering from the same circumstances that have political and historical backgrounds. Giving some brief about this story, the UN described the Myanmar military violence against Rohingya as textbook example of ethnic cleansing. And the Myanmar government denied the Rohingya citizenship and see them as illegal Bengali immigrants. And more than 288 villages were burned. More than 7,000, including 800 children, were killed, and an uncountable number of raping incidents were committed against Rohingya females. This was really a total tragedy against the Rohingya. And if you wanted, I know that I have limited time to talk about the Rohingya crisis, but you can, I think, through the numerous resources via the internet, you can find out how the tragedy of the Rohingyas started from the 15th of the 20th century and up till now. The aims of this study was to evaluate the functionality of social media networks in the mobile apps in relieving their humanitarian crisis, to know the functionality. Second is to suggest suggestions to maximize the usefulness of social media and mobile apps, and look at the limitations. What are the limitations that Rohingya refugees believe in? It abstracts the effectiveness of employing new media technologies. I have adopted the crisis communication model, which I have built this model, which is consists of 3 stages: the before crisis stage, and how can we the main target of using social media in this stage is to provide preparedness to make all the people prepared for the crisis, so we can minimize the consequences, the catastrophic consequences of any crisis. And the second stage is during a crisis. That during crisis, how can we harness the satellite phones, the WhatsApp messages, and radio waves and giant voice systems that rescue for purposes of rescue and decision making, quickly, effective, and to provide people with instant help. And the after crisis stage, we can also use the same thing of the same group of media before the crisis and after crisis, but with different purposes. And the after crisis stage, we are using these media to recover and sustainable maintenance. So this is the long-term strategy before and after crisis. It can be adopted by social media and newspapers, radio waves, and the TV. The methodology can be used in this type of researches is the mixed methods approach that combines the qualitative and the quantitative messages and to bring results compared, integrated, and interpreted in a complementary way of using this methodology. I've tried to figure out what is the relationship between the demographic variables like the age, the education, the occupation, and the residency location, and how these demographic variables may affect interact with the perceptions about the people, the perceptions of the people about the media platform usefulness. The age have this determined effect, or if there is any other demographic variables have focal effect in this context. And also, I want to see if there is any demographic variables have the same relationship with the people preferences of using media platforms. And I found really nice and really interesting results. First, that Facebook was the first platform used by the Rohingya people in Bradford and also in Cox's Bazar camps in Bangladesh. Why? Because Facebook does not need highly educated people and also does not need a strong signal of network. That you can access Facebook easily and more efficiently than any other type of network. The second media was the TV preferred by the Rohingya, but the TV preference based on the unemployed number, the highly unemployed number of the Rohingya male. So they find the TV is available and without any extra costs. The YouTube is in the third place. Because you're using YouTube for downloading or uploading purposes needs strong internet signal, and also it's some people cannot afford the internet service, so they cannot use YouTube all the time. And Twitter in the fourth rank, and this is due to this the nature of Twitter platform as a channel that need a little bit highly educated people using the hashtag in a certain strategy to mobilize the public opinion internationally and locally to support their cause. And in the fifth rank, you can find the radio, and the last rank you can find the newspapers. Many of the females, especially the females, are illiterate, and unfortunately. And also 33% of the Rohingya believe that mobile apps are not useful. And however, 29% think it can help relieving crisis in many ways, as follows. We're talking the mobile apps. We have a lot of mobile apps, as we will see right now, that they found that the mobile apps can help them to provide basic connectivity with family members and to enable communication in times of crisis. Actually, and the mobile apps are mostly used by the Rohingya, the UNHCR emergency handbook, and also the UNHCR refugee site planning. And the UNHCR stands for the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees. It really helped them a lot to give some useful instructions about the main resources of lighting, the resources of food, the resources of healthcare, and other services. There is also an evidence that watching YouTube channel is significantly correlated to the Rohingya conviction of its usefulness to relieve this crisis to the following effects. And the mainly effect is that for 67% of the respondents, that creating global awareness about the issue of the Rohingya. So creating the global awareness is the main function of YouTube, or any, that YouTube can really create the awareness about the issues, especially those issues with historical and political complicated backgrounds, cannot be perceived by reading or by just browsing the pages, but it needs video. It needs to find this type of movies that easy to be understood. And the most famous YouTube channels are the Rohingya Vision TV, and the BBC World News, and the CNN World News. Some other channels, including Al Jazeera International News. So these are the main YouTube channels followed by the Rohingya people. And also the response agree that Facebook can be employed to interact positively with their issue regionally and globally for many reasons. And they have agreed that Facebook can create global awareness about their crisis. And the second is demonstrating the real tragedy of Rohingya people through testimonies from different people that have experience with the Myanmar persecution and oppression, and giving stories about these circumstances. And these some of the Facebook pages that are preferred by the Rohingya people, the Rohingya Vision, and some other pages. So the Rohingya Visions and also the Friends Who Like Burma Rohingya News. Twitter functionality during crisis, mainly also for creating global awareness, and second for demonstrating the real tragedy of Rohingya and following the news reports and urgent news. So we can conclude here that Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter, the main functionality of these platforms to create global awareness, because this is what the Rohingya need to make the people around the world know about their crisis, because this knowledge is not exist. And the most preferred accounts on Twitter used by the Rohingya are the EU, which is the European Rohingya Council, is one who is really 26.9. It's the most preferred Twitter account used by Rohingya. I also found that the younger generation are more convinced that other age categories that social media platform can be influential to relieve their humanitarian crisis than the older age, as you can see here. And also the students are more convinced of the social media usefulness in relieving their humanitarian crisis than any other occupation. Also, I found that the Rohingya who live out of Myanmar are more convinced, like in UK or in Bangladesh or in the Gulf, some of them in the Gulf area, and some of course in Europe. Those who live outside Myanmar are more convinced that communication technology can be a very influential and have a central role in relieving their crisis. And also, I found no evidence support the relation between Rohingya place of residence and media platform preferences. And maybe this is because that maybe need some further research in this point. And the Rohingya occupation is really significantly correlated with the media platform preferences. The media platforms such as Facebook, Twitter, and TV seem to have relationship with the profession. As you can see, the students use these platforms more than anyone else, and the unemployed, to some extent, the employers, to some extent, using social media. But those who are not using social media are really unemployed people. Most of them are employed people. And they are using social media, a heavily use of social media, which is more than 4 hours, and from 2 to 4 hours. They are really heavy users of social media. I have some limitations here. The first is that the PRC, which is British Rohingya Community, is just a limited part of the Rohingya refugee community, and we can find other, results if I have the whole community of Rohingya outside the UK. The female participants were remarkably low due to the language restrictions and due to the illiteracy circumstances. And the only experts gave reasons of disagreeing that social media can relieve the crisis of the Rohingya. I found some conclusions, like Facebook is the most social media used by Rohingya people to communicate and interact with about their cause. They use it mainly to spread awareness about the blight and counter the Burmese authorities' accusations. And the YouTube is not commonly used as it needs a strong network sign to operate. The Rohingya in Bangladesh are not communicatively empowered enough. They don't have, they don't have the citizenship. They don't have any legal access to the networks or the hospitals or the schools, and this is really a critical issue. Using Twitter is limited to activating hashtags that mobilize support for the Rohingya crisis. And lately, the Rohingya people just realized that they can significantly use Twitter in supporting their cause and harness the popularity of some actors and make them advocates for the cause. Like the political figures, some actors, the famous actors, they can spread the word about their plight. And also, most of the Rohingya use smartphones, but they have limited knowledge about how to use it in effective and functional way. They only use Imo and WhatsApp, but they don't have comprehensive knowledge about the UN and the NGOs application that really could facilitate their life and provide guidelines to access necessary services. As I said earlier, there are many mobile application can be used, but they don't have the knowledge to use these applications. Traditional emergency communication models are simply inapplicable regarding the Rohingya humanitarian crisis. Why? Because the specificities of the political situation of the Rohingya does not provide them with the accessibility to the internet, and this is why there is no functionality of social media before the crisis. They can only use it at the end of the second stage, which is at the end of the during crisis stage. But what they are doing now is to use it after the crisis. Yeah, using it after the crisis has already done. So when the people leave their lands and flee to the neighbor places because they don't have the ability to access the internet because of the military authorities prohibit all media forms inside their homeland, which is Arakan state, and no possibility to activate any type of communication before or during crisis, as I said earlier. The NGOs, the non-governmental organization, can offer their Rohingya media literacy, basic knowledge, and news reporting and communication skills training courses that profoundly improve their capacities to utilize social media platform and news resources. The complicated political situation of the Rohingya as a minority devastates many of their campaigns. The Burmese government has massively recruited social media bots to encounter the Rohingya hashtag, and also the stateless case of the Rohingya people, depriving them from national identity by unreasonable denial of their citizenship. And this complicated the right to access telecommunication services legally in Bangladesh. And okay, do you want to say something, Tapa? Or it's okay, I hear some
Are you done with
voice. Okay, relieving organizations should take into consideration that the communication needs, which may be not really less important than food. Communication needs can be more important than food, more important than security, and more important than healthcare, because they spread awareness and mobilize the international awareness about their cause. So, however, it may exceed them sometimes because they help in shaping the public opinion and consequently the political decision making that would contribute to solve the problem. And the social information processing could consciously maintain a long-term communication strategy that support society cohesion, eliminate the hate speech, and to avoid divisiveness talk. The Rohingya crisis disclosed what was hidden for decades and granted the oppressed people unprecedented opportunity to express themselves, to tell stories, and to openly explain the issue from their own points of view. And the Rohingya crisis is not just a humanitarian plight. Actually, it constitutes a complicated political and social issue. And any suggested communication plan should take into consideration the specificities of this case. I think this is the final slide. We have three aspects that should be considered in using social media and new technologies in relieving the humanitarian crisis. First, that's a media governmental policy that believes in empowering people with media is better than depriving them of expressing themselves. Secondly, that the NGOs can compensate the communication inequity by providing people with communication alternatives and facilitate accessing services, in addition to the role of eliminate media literacy that may lead to media misuse. And finally, the Rohingyas themselves should broaden their vision to the potential horizons of using social platforms, and we can help them do this. And be aware of the new media technology possibilities and limitations that optimize the supportive functions of the cause. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity, and see you later. Thank you very much. I am happy to. I'm happy to.
Wonderful presentation.
Thank you.
I think we'll have some questions for you.
Okay.
First of all, I would like to know how media persons were responsible, or how media persons were using their social media at the time of like Rohingya crisis, or like right now in the COVID-19 crisis there, how media persons and other persons are responsibly using the social media.
Actually, know that anyone working in the media should feel responsibility about his people. They should know what the people really need. If they really need information, they have to be informative. They have to give accurate information. They have to guide the people to how to detect the fake news. Because, you know, if there is a crisis, the people are already feel panic and feel scared, and they are hesitated. The feeling of uncertainty is really make them unstable in all their lives. So the media workers and the media channels should give the people the trusted information from the experts. And also, from another perspective, the people themselves that should help in denying and refusing to interact with the false information, not to share the fake news, not to share the untrusted resources of information. This would help a lot in the times of pandemic crisis or any health crisis like COVID-19.
Okay. Any other? Do you have questions? Floor is open for you.
Hello, Namaskar. Good morning.
Hello. Good morning.
It's me, Ajay Sharma.
Hello. Hello, Sharma.
Yeah.
Hello.
Are you getting me?
Yes, I'm getting you.
Can you describe your experience about government media and private media, how they are using the social media as a tool in that insurgency?
I can. Okay, thank you very much for this question. In Egypt, I would talk about the Egyptian experience. Actually, in the governmental use of social media, focus on harnessing some influential influencers to advocate the governmental and the formal policies. They have, of course, official website. They have formal channels on YouTube or official accounts on Twitter. The many ministries have this. I think all the government have the same strategy to communicate with the public opinion, but also they are harnessing the drama and the actors to make this complementary role in spread awareness of some issues, of some the government has to have some policies they want to people to be convinced of. They use the media with its formal and informal trajectories to achieve this goal. However, the private or the individual use of social media are for many reasons or for many purposes. It's not for advocating something, but it's for spreading their own opinion about some issues. And some of them are from the opposition, and some of them are just following the same strategy of the government. But I think that those who are expressing the opposition part are more popular than those who are following the government point of view. So harnessing social media in Egypt is really for different purposes, for different reasons, but they have the same strategy of focusing on the public opinion. What I mean is that the public opinion is the main goal to be changed. They want the public opinion to support them in their policies, especially for the government. So they use the influencers, they use the formal and their official websites and pages and accounts to achieve this target. But for the private and the individual users, it's mainly for the opposition. It's mainly for those people who are giving different points of view that are really opposing the formal point of view.
Thank you very much.
Hello, namaste. Namaste. Thank you very much for your clear presentation. I'm Anant Anurag. I'm a working journalist and a student of Polygon College. I have one question regarding official regulatory bodies. Every country has own media and social media's regulatory bodies. And when we're talking about crisis time and using social media, my question is how these government bodies has created obstacle and impact on using social media during crisis. Sometimes we have seen that there are lots of messages which are not related to the fact and figures, and that are disseminating within the circles. That's affecting the people, those who are seeking true message information. So how these regulatory bodies are obstacle and impacted social medias during crisis time. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your comment and question at the same time. Actually, we have in Egypt 3 bodies that are regulating the media content and make some, to organize the work and make it a little bit controlled. These bodies are for the journalism and for the broadcasting and for the social media. This is the one regarding the social media activities is trying to follow, monitor, and to communicate directly with the activists that are responsible for publishing the fake news. They are really detecting them and they are dealing with them, and also spread awareness to unfollow them. They are trying to do this, but they really do this in a very difficult circumstances, because it's difficult to detect the day-to-day accounts curated, and you don't have the possibility to verify the authenticity of these accounts. Some of them are experts, and some of them are not experts, are just bots. And this is another technical problem. So, one of the algorithmic dilemmas of social media platforms is the bots. You don't have the source of these bots. You don't know how to eliminate such phenomena, but the spread awareness among the people who are using the social media is critical in minimizing the negative consequences of the fake news and fake accounts and bots activities, and also the acting some laws and some regulations that could be really a good way to prevent some criminals and those who falsify news about political or social or health information is really critical in fighting against the fake news. So, you know, we are trying on the political and on the governmental stage, and also we have some non-governmental entities that are trying to do the same, but in the popular, you know, between the people. They are spreading awareness, and the universities, on the and some social as salons and seminars, giving people the right information, how to use the social media and how to differentiate between the right and the false content, and try to communicate effectively with other people regarding this issue.
Okay, next question, please.
Namaste, Professor. Hello, Namaste, Professor. My name is Bhumi.
Hello, Bhumi.
Yes. Yeah, as you mentioned, how we can be humanitarian on crisis.
We
I
can.
have one query. I have one query.
You have one question, okay?
Yeah. Now we are suffering from COVID pandemic, and people are posting their personal views, some tips, their article, etc. But how people know that it really was trustable? That article or tips, it really was trustable. How people know, general people? And another thing, some people are misusing their social media. Their views using by social media, and how general people know it is trustable, and how we, media person can aware them avoiding that such things.
Thank you very much for this really important question, and it's really not easy mission, but you can do it by yourself. I always believe that everyone is responsible for his own mental and personal awareness. You have to promote your own ways to scrutiny and to criticize any resource. You should know how to analyze the context. You have to know this is your responsibility before any other one. You should know that as when you're consuming any source of information, it will construct your own mentality. So you should be very aware and very attentive. it's your own responsibility again to compare contests together, and when you're comparing contests and news and reports, you will find the mistakes, you will find the false parts of the contest. It's by your own conclusions. You can do it. And when you find if you find the right and trustful information, you have to guide people how to use this, and to we should. It's common knowledge. It's our collective awareness. We have to exclude and identify those accounts, whether we know them or we don't know them personally, not to use the false accounts or the false resources of news, and let the people do the same. Not only our it's not only our mission or our rule. It's the rule of everyone in the society to detect those who are untrusted accounts or users or entities, and let the people do the same. By this way, we will eliminate the fake news and the fake accounts, and also if we activate the legal procedures against them, I think this would help a lot in preventing the whole community from their negative effects.
Thank you.
Next question, please.
You're welcome.
कसैलाई भाषामा समस्या छ भने नेपालीमा सोध्नु भए पनि हुन्छ है. I will translate that in English.
Okay.
Ganesh ji. रामकुमार जी केही प्रश्न छ तपाईको?
सर मै सोधिहालौँ एउटा अझै कि क्या हो?
हुन्छ.
So another question is in Egypt, how Egyptian government has handling medias and mainstreaming medias and social medias by establishing a regulatory body.
Thank you very much. We have three, as I said, we have three bodies to regulate media performance. The first body is the National Institute of Media for journalists, and this is like syndicate of journalists that is regulating the journalists' performance. We have code of ethics. This code of ethics would account the misuse of information, any publishing crimes, and we still, the academics and those the practitioners, or the professionals who are concerned about freedom of expression, I really need more and more horizons of freedom. We still, because there is some urgent issues in Egypt, like fighting against terrorism, and this is announced and declared the policy by the government. It's really a little bit eliminating our ability to access more and more freedom in expression. But we are still, asking the representatives of the journalist syndicates in the House of People to enact new laws and new code of ethics that would enable journalists from accessing sources of information that would help a lot in spread right awareness about all the social and political issues, and also to defend the journalists that are still detained for political reasons. And we are trying, and this is continuous battle of journalists. It's not in Egypt, not only in Egypt, but all over the world, to reach higher and higher levels of freedom and to try to show more resilience with the current circumstances. So we have bodies that are regulating the journalistic performance, but we still need more freedom of speech through our representatives in the House of People and the Parliament, especially the Parliament.
Okay. Any more question?
Hello.
Yes. Hello.
Hello.
Yes. Hello.
Namaste.
Yes, I can hear you.
Namaste. I'm Ganesh Mauni.
Yes, Harmony.
I'm student. Yeah, Ganesh Mauni.
Ganesh
I'm
Mauni.
student of yes. I'm student of Polygon College.
How are you?
My question is, how Egypt government invest in the media?
The Egyptian government, how the Egyptian government invest the media?
I think he wants to know that is there any investment of government in media or not in Egypt?
Yes, of course. Most of 90% of the media industry are governed and managed by the government. Oh. It's 90%. Yeah, you can imagine how much control the media in Egypt.
It means that almost all media are dominated by government.
Yes, directly and indirectly.
Okay. If you, I mean, this is very, important thing. 90% medias are controlled by the government, and how people voice can raise from the media, as many voices cannot be raised from the government media. So this thing shows the freedom of speech and the media's role in Egypt.
They can express themselves through social media. And this is the only way right now to express themselves. But also, it's not weak or marginal thing. It's very powerful. If you have the right content, a lot of people also outside Egypt are expressing their voices through the social media and through their own website, their private websites. And this is really influential role in communicating with the public opinion. They can find a way, even in the governmental, within the governmental control. And the right word has its own way to reach us or to reach anyone, even under this control. Also, the journalists and the professionals keep fighting to have more and more a higher level of freedom, and it just needs some patience, some persistence, and some determination. And I think we can find a better road in the future.
Hello, Professor. Again, I am Bhumi.
Hello, Bhumi.
Yes, as you mentioned, that Egypt government invests a lot to the media field. So, if so, then of course governments want to deliver their voice. I mean, government voice only. So, how marginalized people or community can raise their voice? I mean, is there any other way, media or social media or government voice?
If I got your question right, you are asking about how the people can raise their voices through social media?
I think she's...
Yeah, I mean, especially marginalized people, how can they raise their voice through social media, I mean, from government level?
From government level, we have talk shows and the government TV. Some of the people can, tell their stories through the talk shows, and some talk shows are really very popular, and others are, they can find their way also through the some private YouTube channels. And it's out of the government control at all. It's really out of the government control. The many of the Egyptian also are broadcasting and disseminating their messages from outside Egypt, and the people inside Egypt sharing and replicating the same strategy of the same content. And this helped a lot to make another voices inside Egypt that is balanced, make some balance with the governmental point of view. And it's okay. The people can know everything if they want to know. They can find the channels. They can find the pages. They can find the accounts. But sometimes, for some political reasons, it's difficult to show this publicly. But still, it still exists, and it's still influential tool to spread awareness about the essential issues inside Egypt.
Thank you.
Any more questions?
You're welcome.
I think we can take the last question. Shivaji, you have a question?
Yeah, I think the answer are already given by Professor. Namaste again. I have one query, is that how can we make the social media's information reliable and trustworthy? Because there are so many fake news and rumors in the social medias. Then how can we make this reliable and trustworthy? Just give in short.
Yes, thank you for this question. Thank you very much. I have mentioned this in the beginning of this lecture, but I will read it again. If you want to be a trustful source on social media, you should be present. You should be reliable. You should be accountable. You should provide accurate information. You should engage with the people, ask the people to tell them stories. So you will put all the facts and all the reliable information in your account. You will be known with your own authenticity, with your realistic stories. If you provide testimonies from the people, you will provide alive facts in front of the world. You should be accountable. If you have done any mistake, you should say, I have taken it wrong, and say I am wrong. It's not bad. It's good, because you are accountable by this way. And also you have to be transparent. If you have any financing or budget from sponsor, you have to identify this sponsor, because this gives you more credibility and transparency. You have to be present. Also, you have to connect with the people who are interested in the same concerns of you. Make this networking activity would strengthen your efforts to spread the right word.
Okay, that's wonderful. Any question remain for the last? I think questions are finished. Thank you.
Okay. You're welcome, Taba.
You have a question?
My question for you, Professor, is what is the situation of women journalists, especially during the humanitarian crisis?
The female, and you're asking about the female journalists during humanitarian crisis. Yes, really difficult questions because they have the same situations of the male, but maybe the risks against them could be higher in the circumstances of displacement, or when there is inadequate resources of electricity, dark at night. Sometimes they have a network failure. They cannot communicate with their colleagues, and this could be risky a little bit for the females, but I think the same risks of the males are also risks for the female, but with a higher vulnerability for women. There is one of my colleagues, her name is Abir Elsayed, has many studies about the risks that would face journalists, especially the female journalists during crisis time. If you Google it, Abir Elsayed, I think you will find also more information about this topic.
Yes, Professor, I've met Abir Sadi when she was here in Nepal. She was here for some
great
programs for iWord and also for this Nepal Africa Film Festival. So I had met her there, and I got an opportunity to interact.
Okay. She is my friend, and she is really interested in this area of interest. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you so much for your response.
You're welcome. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Okay, now let's wrap up this session. Thank you, Fatma, for a wonderful time and presentation. We'll call you again in the future. Hope you'll be
Thank you, Professor Taba. Thank you.
I'm sorry that I disturbed your sleep early in the morning today.
No. We are fasting, we are Muslims fasting, and this is the time we have our last meal in the day before starting fasting the new day. So I've already woken up.
Oh, okay.
So Ramadan is ongoing there?
Ramadan
is ongoing?
It's same, all over the world. Mr. Ananta, I think we are also having Ramadan here.
Yeah. So happy Ramadan, and wish you all the best, Professor. And thank you very much for having with us and having a fruitful time to share your ideas together with us. And it's very fruitful. And we have got a lot of in-depthness using social medias, and as a active social medias, I have got some valid point which I will have to implement in the future. Thank you very much for having good time with us.
Thank you very much. It's me that I would thank Professor Abir Taba for this really fruitful time with you all, and I really welcoming you all in my Facebook page. I have the same name on Facebook, so I would really welcome all of you, and I will be happy if I can visit Nepal one day in the future.
Sure, you're always
welcome.
You.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you everyone. Have a good day.
Thank you, Professor. Bye-bye.
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 Thank you, sir.
Oh my God. لسه عندي مشكلة في الكاميرا.